In the previous spoiler, it was mentioned that with Babata's help, Luo Feng successfully killed Pansy. However, one question continued to trouble Luo Feng. Given Pansy's identity and status, it was simply unreasonable for him to have nurtured two plant lifeforms that had reached the 9th stage of the World Master level. Luo Feng's instincts told him Pansy must have been hiding a secret. If not for the fact that Luo Feng had taken all of Pansy's belongings into his internal world for a thorough inspection, this secret might have remained buried. The true clue was hidden inside a seemingly ordinary, bad-shaped world storage space. This method of concealment was, in fact, a common tactic among many powerful figures when it came to safeguarding rare treasures. Thinking back, Luo Feng had faced multiple assassination attempts by domain masters, world masters, and even recently, by an immortal-level assassin. If it weren't for the large quantity of Zerg remains concealing him at the time, he would have already met his demise. These repeated attempts made him realize the importance of keeping trump cards hidden and enhancing his survivability. To prepare for future unpredictable risks, he had specifically purchased a world ring with massive storage capacity and handed his life core over to his Masha clan clone, hiding it within. Though such a world ring was an expensive luxury for ordinary people, it was nothing more than a drop in the ocean for Luo Feng with his current wealth, which is easily affordable. With this ring, even if he were to face another assassination attempt, he would at most lose a human body, while the true life core would remain untouched. After all, the Masha clan clone's innate secret technique was incredibly unique. Who would ever suspect that among the countless grains of sand and particles of dirt in a world, Luo Feng's lifeline was hidden? Without knowing his trump cards, who would go to the trouble of scrutinizing every grain of sand? Back to the story, precisely because Luo Feng continued to harbor suspicions about Pansy, he made the decision to bring all his belongings into his internal world for detailed investigation. That was how he discovered the extraordinary nature of that badge. Upon entering the world stored within the badge, he unexpectedly came upon an extremely cold lake. Strangely, the coldness was not piercing, instead, it felt oddly soothing. Under Babata's identification, Luo Feng was shocked to learn that this was the extraordinarily expensive Loke Divine liquid. Based on the lake's total volume, its value exceeded 60 billion mixed yuan units, comparable to the entire wealth of many king immortals, and nearly 600 times Luo Feng's current net worth. It was as though he had struck sudden, unimaginable wealth. The rarity of Loke Divine liquid speaks for itself. On the market, it's usually sold only in minuscule quantities. For someone like Pansy to have possessed such a massive reservoir, it could only mean that he had stumbled upon an incredibly rare and fortuitous encounter. It was precisely with this divine lake water that he had been able to nurture two plant lifeforms to the 9th stage of the World Master level. Now, with this rare treasure in Luo Feng's hands, he too could easily help the Emoyun vine break through to the 9th stage of the World Master level. Just as Luo Feng was rejoicing over his unexpected windfall, thinking the next step would be evaluation and scoring by Universe Venerables for his mission performance, an unexpected email arrived from King Jinyan, urging him to quickly connect to the virtual universe. It turned out that a powerful figure from Hujack's dojo, Venerable Undying, whose strength was said to rival that of Tianshi Palace Master and who held the status of a universe overlord, had personally requested Luo Feng's contact details through King Jinyan and wanted to meet him alone. This news greatly shocked King Jinyan, who even suspected whether Luo Feng might have inadvertently offended such a terrifying being. As the name implies, the title Undying itself speaks to this figure's astonishing survivability. He had repeatedly ventured alone into universe secret realms that even universe venerables and overlords feared to tread, yet always emerged unharmed. In the vast cosmos teeming with powerful figures, there were very few who could truly remain undefeated by death. Even Shi Luo Duo, the famed golden horned race warrior once hailed as invincible beneath the universe masters, ultimately could not escape his demise. This venerable Undying not only possessed near indestructible vitality, but his background was even more intimidating. His teacher was none other than the founder of Hujack's dojo. Who would dare provoke someone like that? Should one offend him, the venerable Undying would have all the time and means for revenge, without paying any price. That's precisely why King Jinyan so anxiously summoned Luo Feng, fearing that he might accidentally anger this universe overlord and bring disaster upon himself or their race. After confirming that Luo Feng had not had any conflict with the Undying Venerable, King Jinyan finally felt somewhat relieved and repeatedly reminded him to meet with humility. The Undying Venerable's temperament was unpredictable. Any disrespect could result in a deadly rampage under the pretext of disrespecting an elder, even leading to the slaughter of Luo Feng's hometown. With his identity and status, punishing a junior would not invite any criticism or retribution. Although Luo Feng didn't understand why such a universe overlord would suddenly seek him out, he remained calm, staying in the virtual universe and patiently awaiting the Undying Venerable's contact. Soon, the Undying Venerable indeed reached out, directly stating that the purpose of his visit was to purchase the entire Milky Way. Luo Feng was taken aback but understood that refusing such an entity was impossible. He immediately tried to keep Earth by offering the entire Milky Way's planets for free, hoping to preserve Earth, which was crucial to him. However, what Luo Feng hadn't expected was that the Undying Venerable was actually after Earth itself. The claim of buying the Milky Way was merely a smokescreen to divert Luo Feng's suspicion. Seeing that Luo Feng was determined not to hand over Earth, the Undying Venerable began to show a more forceful attitude, resorting to threats and offers, even openly stating that he would use Luo Feng's life as leverage. However, Luo Feng remained unmoved, standing firm. He knew very well that if Earth fell into someone else's hands, even if someone in the future sought to enslave all the Earthlings without cosmic citizenship, he would have no right to interfere or stop it. While negotiating with the Undying Venerable, Luo Feng's mind was racing, trying to come up with a way to protect Earth. He even considered extreme measures, such as moving Earth into his internal world and having the Masha clan clone carry the life core to a distant star region. With the Masha clan's exceptional camouflage abilities, no one would realize that Earth was Luo Feng's lifeline. Under such arrangements, although Earthlings would have to temporarily live in his internal world or in the Divine Kingdom he would later establish, this would still be the safest option compared to losing control of Earth. Faced with Luo Feng's firm stance, the Undying Venerable surprisingly began to show admiration. He no longer insisted on possessing Earth and instead proposed a secondary request. He hoped Luo Feng would gift him an island on Earth. An island was a small thing, so Luo Feng agreed without hesitation. During their conversation, Luo Feng secretly piloted his spaceship, racing toward Earth, fearing that any delay might lead to irreversible consequences. However, he was still a step too late. As seen in episode 166, in his quest for revenge, King Nightmare Candle had long secretly made arrangements, sending someone with his immortal crystal to Earth and quietly placing it in a highly secretive corner. This allowed him to use the teleportation powers of his divine kingdom to lead more than 20 strong beings to Earth in an instant, 6 of whom were King Immortals, and the strongest among them had reached the terrifying level of high-tier King Immortal. This gave them a huge advantage over the teams sent by other universe venerables, allowing them to seize the initiative. Although King Nightmare Candle was not the most powerful King Immortal and could be considered at the bottom of the hierarchy, his deep experience and the influence of his powerful universe venerable father meant that even those stronger than him had to obey his orders and act according to his wishes. Under his command, a Marquis Immortal, the Marquis Burning Heart, stayed behind on Earth, holding Su Xian hostage to force Luo Feng to appear and negotiate the terms for the sale of Earth. Meanwhile, other powerful figures, led by the high-tier King Immortal, instantly teleported to avoid 1 light-year away from Earth, waiting for the right moment to act. Upon learning that Su Xian had been captured, Luo Feng was filled with anxiety. With the help of the Dylan Divine Kingdom's teleportation, he arrived on Mars first, then quickly made his way toward Earth. You might wonder why Dylan did not directly use the Divine Kingdom's teleportation to arrive on Earth but chose to land on Mars instead. The reason was that when Luo Feng received the video of Su Xian being kidnapped, Dylan immediately recognized the captor as a Marquis Immortal, stronger than him. For an immortal being, their consciousness could easily cover the entire Earth. If Dylan had directly teleported to Earth, it would have exposed the location of his Divine Kingdom. For an immortal, this was an extremely dangerous move. Once the location of the Divine Kingdom was exposed to stronger beings, the consequences would be unimaginable. After all, with a vast difference in strength, a stronger being could easily destroy a weaker being's Divine Kingdom. Unless the Divine Kingdom was monstrously large, many times bigger than that of an ordinary life, it would not be safe. Such oversized Divine Kingdoms were typically seen only in beings with noble bloodlines or rare and powerful life forms. As for humans, even a universe venerable's Divine Kingdom usually had a diameter of only trillions of kilometers, and a human immortal's Divine Kingdom would be much smaller. To avoid unnecessary complications and to prevent Luo Feng from becoming suspicious, Marquis Burning Heart did not dare to appear too aggressive. When Luo Feng returned, he immediately released Su Xian. After all, their primary goal was to purchase Earth, and if Su Xian were harmed, it could escalate tensions and cause the deal to fall apart. To prevent any unforeseen changes, the Masha clan clone hidden within the World Ring immediately used the power of the world to gather the entire Luo family, including all the servants and guards, into the inner world, ensuring their safety. Only then did Luo Feng ask about the intention of the Marquis Burning Heart. However, the Marquis Immortal tried to cover up his real purpose by citing the purchase of the entire Milky Way galaxy. What he did not expect was that this trick had already been used by the Venerable Undying. Even when facing a universe overlord level existence, Luo Feng could remain firm in his resolve and was not intimidated by power. How could he be shaken by a mere Marquis Immortal? He responded to the Marquis Immortal in the same manner, not giving him any opportunity to exploit. As expected, the so-called purchase of the Milky Way galaxy was just a smokescreen. Earth was the true target of the Marquis Immortal. Seeing Luo Feng's unwavering stance, Marquis Burning Heart had no choice but to inform King Nightmare Candle about the situation. Soon after, King Nightmare Candle, along with the other immortals, returned to Earth with the intent to use force. After all, every immortal present was stronger than Dylan. King Nightmare Candle had always acted ruthlessly, and when the high price offer for Earth fell through, he became enraged and immediately began gathering all the humans on Earth into the World Ring, using their lives as leverage. King Nightmare Candle had anticipated that Luo Feng and Dylan might have activated the virtual universe network, recording and transmitting the events. Therefore, before the situation spiraled out of control, he was unwilling to kill Luo Feng outright, which would leave Earth without a lord and cause even more chaos. He understood that if he killed Luo Feng, his status and his father's position at Huge Axe Dojo would protect him from execution, but the Huge Axe Dojo would still have to hold him accountable, and punishment was inevitable. King Nightmare Candle's hardline attitude toward Earth made Luo Feng suspicious. After all, two powerful universe venerables from the Huge Axe Dojo had consecutively sought to purchase Earth with the same excuse. This raised questions about what secrets Earth was hiding. In fact, the true secret of Earth still lay hidden in deep mystery. If it weren't for Hong's extraordinary talent displayed at the Huge Axe Dojo, which drew the attention of the higher-ups, leading to a complete information blackout by the Huge Axe Dojo, perhaps Earth's fate would not have changed so dramatically. When the founder of the Huge Axe Dojo personally used the time-space divination technique to investigate Earth's origins, although he couldn't fully uncover Earth's secrets, he discovered that Earth was connected to an ancient mysterious powerhouse, Zuishan Ku, or known as the Mountain-Sitting Guest. Mountain-Sitting Guest was known throughout the universe for his craftsmanship and artifact forging. His works often astonished even the universe masters and true gods. For example, the Demon Mountain was one of his creations. The seemingly ordinary mountain could release deceptive magical sounds, and its coldest area could freeze even a world master-level powerhouse. It also housed illusion beasts that even ordinary immortals could hardly eliminate. This showed Mountain-Sitting Guest's exceptional mastery in artifact forging. What made him even more formidable was his mysterious whereabouts and unpredictable methods. He was always solitary, and almost no force dared to provoke him. Although the founder of the Huge Axe Dojo couldn't fully understand Earth's true mystery, just knowing that it was connected to Mountain-Sitting Guest was enough to convince him that Earth was far from ordinary. When this discovery was revealed by a true god, all the universe venerables rushed to Earth, eager to claim it. However, they did not expect that Venerable Fire Erosion's representative, his son King Nightmare Candle and the gang, had already arrived first. However, they were also unaware that Mountain-Sitting Guest's true identity was far more complex than the true god he appeared to be. In fact, he was a god king who had reincarnated with his memories intact and could restore his peak power at any time. If he wished, he could instantly return to his god king status. To him, all life in the original universe was as insignificant as dust. As for why Mountain-Sitting Guest created the Yenshin tribe and the lineage connected to Earth, the deeper meaning behind this will be revealed when I tell you about Luo Feng's 5 masters in the future. But for now, Earth is in great peril, and with King Nightmare Candle closing in, will Luo Feng be able to turn the tide and protect Earth from disaster? How will the humans of Earth escape the deadly grasp of King Nightmare Candle? Stay tuned for the next episode, I will reveal all the answers. Well, that's all for this video. Thanks for watching this video. Wish you a wonderful day.